Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Easkey Britton, a marine social scientist and a surfer from the west coast of Ireland. And my work really centres on how I might restore the ocean as a safe, inclusive and healthy space for everyone. And I'm particularly interested in our relationship with the sea, our human relationship, and the interdependence between ocean health and human health. Or what is now being called ocean and human health or blue health. In particular, the mental and physical benefits of being in, on, or near water. And as a surfer, I've also developed a practice to help prepare my mind, my mental and emotional states before I enter a competition or before I take on big waves in big wave surfing. Especially here in the winter time in Ireland, you're dealing with really wild, changeable, unpredictable conditions and confronted with fear in a very visceral way in the form of an oncoming 20 or 30-foot wave. So how do you prepare for moments like that, or any moment when we're meeting challenges in our lives, be they literal or metaphorical oncoming waves? And I have found my mindfulness practice to be really useful. I have developed particular tools that I call blue mindfulness. So blue mindfulness draws on the concept of blue mind, coined by marine biologist Wallace J. Nichols in his book of the same name. And this looks at the psychological effect and benefit of being in, on, or near water. So how our proximity to water can alter our mood and emotional states in particular. So over time, I've developed a number of different practices and tools, some of which I would love to share with you today. I think are really applicable in leadership contexts, in particular for how we want to cultivate greater inner resilience. So inner resilience being that ability to confront and move with change rather than resist it, our ability to adapt or recover from a disruption, disturbance, unexpected event. That ability to self-connect in moments of challenge or stress. And some of these practices I've written about in my new book, 50 Things to Do by the Sea. And if you're in the US, it's 50 Things to Do at the Beach. But a section is dedicated to what I call the healing powers of the ocean and how to tap into those. So how the ocean can enhance our well-being. And what I wanted to speak to now for a moment before I share some of the practices is why water? What is it about the ocean? And when we experience and comprehend the world through our senses, and ocean, seas, and coasts are fluid, dynamic, always changing, moment by moment, offering very different multisensory experiences to land-based environments. And this has really important benefits for our health. So that multisensory nature of water environments engage a variety of our senses all at once. And this is really important first for moving from our heads and our thought patterns and stories that are constantly, running a script in our minds, fatiguing our brains. So that shift from our brain into our body. And when we're in our bodies, we can better feel or notice our feelings and better connect. We become more aware of what it is we're experiencing. And the other reason why multisensory environments are really important and when all of our senses are engaged, so it's really important for memory because the brain is being stimulated in different ways. And that's essential higher functioning of different sensory systems in the brain can be improved, such as listening skills. So, for example, the mix of seabirds calling, crashing waves, the wind howling along the cliff face, and also tactile recognition. So the feeling and texture of sand beneath our feet, the salt spray or wind on our skin. All of that leaves a more powerful imprint in our body minds, creating more potent memories that are much easier to recall later on when we want to revisit them, which I'll speak to in a moment, the power of visualization. And then you also have color, movement, smell of the sea, which all have an effect on our sense of well-being. And the stimulation of all these senses in our bodies helps us to more fully experience the world around us, helping us feel more present and engaged in the moment. And we're also able to more vividly recall the memory of these experiences, like I said, by leaving this kind of sensory imprint in our memory, as it were. And that's why early memories of water are some of our most powerful. And this is all before we even dip a toe in the sea. So what I wanted to share now is we'll take a moment to do a really simple visualization exercise. Visualization is one of the most powerful tools I've found for training the mind, again, especially in training for surfing. So it's just simply about finding a moment to pause, and even just taking 2 to 3 minutes, even 5 minutes, can create a tremendous benefit. So just taking a moment to be still, settling into your body, closing your eyes, connecting with your body through your breath. So bringing your attention to the breath. And then picturing in your mind's eye your favorite place to be by water. So wherever you are, maybe you don't have access to the sea, coast, or beach. So it could be a river, a lake, any water body, because all water is connected and it all ultimately returns to the ocean. So take a moment to picture that watery place in your mind's eye and really sort of dropping into all of your senses, noticing what it is you can see around you, but also taking in the different sounds, the smells. How does it feel? How are you feeling in your body? Are you feeling relaxed and refreshed here? Calm, excited, or energized? And just taking a moment in your mind's eye to soak all of this up, all of the sensory stimulation. Just breathing into this place, your favorite place to be by water. And taking a moment to notice how it feels to be here. What are you sensing? What are you feeling? Allowing yourself to be here now. And if your mind wanders, just bringing your attention back to your breath and calling out more imagery of this place by the water. Just noticing what's coming up for you here. What's alive in you right now in this place. Gently bringing your awareness back to your breath, into your body. You might want to stretch it out, shake it out. Coming back into connection with where you are now. Blinking your eyes open. And so you can hang out there for as long as you like. This was just a little micro dose of the power and beauty of visualization. And what's really happening here, through the power of the thought and the imagery, the brain is sending signals to your body so that your body believes it is actually in that place. And so you're beginning to experience a physiological response as if you were actually there. And I've used visualization in my surfing to visualize those, big days happen very rarely in the wintertime. I'd only be a handful of them, of big winter swells. And so you don't get the opportunity to surf a lot of those waves very often. And so a way to train is to visualize. And so what I would suggest is that next time you are by the sea, really take a moment to consciously tune in with all of your senses, to imprint that experience in your body mind, so that you can recall it more powerfully in your visualization later on, that you access when you're stuck in traffic, you're exhausted after a day on a computer screen, or after running around after kids, or juggling all the to-dos, or to take a moment to pause and reset in the middle of your working day. It's just a really wonderful thing, and it's always accessible, always there to us, just tapping in to the power of the mind, and the memory held in our sensory body of our relationship to these watery environments, of our connection to the sea. And of course, the more and more you do this, then the more the body benefits. So it's just, a really great tool, especially at this time during pandemic, when we're coming in and out of successive lockdowns and might not have access to the places that nourish us most. So it's no replacement, but it is an incredible primer, and example of the power of the human mind and our connection to the sea. Just to mention around that kind of the blue mindfulness practice, and the effect that water has on us, and how it directly affects the brain. And this is perhaps not surprising, given that the brain is 80% water, and research shows how simply being near water has that positive impact on our mental well-being, can reinforce our connection to ourselves, each other, and nature. And this human water connection is what Jay Nichols refers to as blue mind. And it really explores why we're drawn to water and why it has a calming effect on us. So it actually alters our brain waves and begins to lower stress hormones. And it's the antidote to what Nichols calls the red mind state, which is characterized by the anxious, overstimulated, distracted state of mind that defines so much of our modern everyday lives. And this calming effect, when we're by water, helps us relax and quiet the noise in our busy minds, feeling a greater sense of clarity. And this clarity then can aid reflective thinking, which allows us to stand back and take a look at the bigger picture to gain insights about our actions and experiences without making judgments or assumptions. So it's that ability to reflect on our experience that gives us the insights in the work that we do. Advances in neuroscience are beginning to highlight the relationship between water and our brain. For example, the vagus nerve is stimulated when we're in water. It's also stimulated when we connect with our breath, like we've just experienced. And this nerve, the vagus nerve, plays a central role in the parasympathetic nervous system. So that's the part of our nervous system that's in charge of rest and digestion. It calms our fight or flight response and reduces our stress response. And the constantly changing multisensory nature of the sea is also linked to enhancing neuroplasticity. So literally rewiring and firing new neural pathways in our nervous system. So this is really what is that? It's the brain's ability to form the new neural connections in response to the stimulation from new experiences. Which is essential for creative thinking. This offers new ways to improve our learning, to recover from physical injury or mental fatigue, or mental illness. So my top tip to end on is that to take a blue mindfulness moment whenever you can, with the ocean breath, with the visualization, and kind of going in your journeying in your mind's eye to be by the sea. And even if you can't get to the sea, evidence shows that even looking at an image or a painting of the ocean can have a calming effect, and in particular listening to the sound of the sea. So if you can get a recording of your favorite part of the coast, or record it next time you're there, you can listen back to this, and that can activate your blue mind. By simply listening to your recorded seascape. And that way you can return to that blue mind state at any moment in your daily life, helping to soothe your nervous system. What I have shared can be found in the book, 50 Things to Do by the Sea or 50 Things to Do at the Beach, the US version available now. Thank you.